Yesterday was Yud Kislev, the 10th day of Kislev, as we spoke about the fact that this was the Chag HaGeula, the day of liberation of the Mitteler Rebbe, So let me share with you a story of Mitteler Rebbe, but it's more than a story. It's actually a deep lesson. A chassid of the Mitteler Rebbe, who was known to be very pious, great scholar. His devotion in praying was sincere and serious. His kindness to the other was exemplary. A great Jew, a good chassid. So he came to his Rebbe, to the Mitteler Rebbe, with a concern. He was afraid of feeling of arrogance. He's afraid of arrogance, that where this might lead him. Asking advice, what he should do. The Mitteler Rebbe thought for a moment, and then the Mitteler Rebbe said to him the following. When God created the world, He created Tov v'Ra, good and evil. When the both of them, good and evil, came to God and said, what is our mission? God told to good, your mission is to spread goodness, to spread the light of godliness. Evil came. What is my task? My task is, your task is, said God, is to fight good, so that people should have a freedom of choice by trying to influence them to do bad. So he said, how will I succeed in something like this? Why would anyone follow me? And God said, don't worry, people will follow you. So he asked, what will be my name? What will I be known as? And God said, you'll be known as Serpent. Serpent? People will be afraid of me. Don't worry. And indeed, shortly after their creation, Serpent was quite successful in influencing Adam and Eve to commit a sin. But eventually, when Adam and Eve repented, and they reached a higher level even than before, because Teshuvah reaches a very high level, the serpent came to God and says, now my mission is over. Nobody's going to listen to me anymore. So God said, you know what? We'll change your name. And you won't be called anymore serpent, but you will be called the Malacha, the angel of death. He's setting out to do his task. And indeed, he was very, very successful. Until Avraham Avinu and Sarah came around. When they came around and they started spreading the belief in one God and the recognition there is a purpose to this world, there's a purpose to our existence. Once again, serpent, angel of death, comes to God and says, God, my work is over. Nobody's listening to me anymore. Okay, God said, let's change your name. And from now on you will be called Satan. So nobody will know who you are. And people will allow themselves to be influenced by your sly talk, by your sharp tongue, and you will be successful. And indeed, Satan was very successful. But only till Moshe Rabbeinu came around and started teaching Torah. When we received the Torah on Mount Sinai, and Moshe Rabbeinu was teaching the Torah to all the people. And when they saw the beauty of the Torah, the holiness of the Torah, the righteousness of Moshe Rabbeinu, they all wanted to emulate him. So now Satan was out of business completely, he said. Came back to Hashem. Said, God, might as well take me away because I'm useless. God said, you know what? We'll change your name. And we will call you from now on Arrogance, Gaiva. Quite successful. It was so successful that it actually affected the scholars, the Talmidei Chachamim, who, in their arrogance, instead of realizing that the more they study, the less they know, they started looking down at other people with disdain. But this only lasted till the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov came and he taught and he showed the value of the simple people, how everyone, even the one who is not learned, his performance of mitzvahs, her sincerity is equally important as the great Talmid Chacham. Arrogance, once again, was out of business. Came back to God and says, Rabbeinu Shalom, let me give up, take me away. And God said, you know what, we'll change your name. From plain arrogance, we will call you fear of arrogance. Mitteler Rebbe looked at his chassid. Fear of arrogance is arrogance in itself. So just don't focus on it. Don't pay attention to it. Do what you're supposed to do. Recognize the mission for which you have been put into this world, which is to spread godliness, which is to spread righteousness, which is to spread Torah mitzvahs, and to prepare yourself to welcome Mashiach.